Hello, Internet. Welcome back. We are so excited to be continuing our Lunch and Learn series this year, and we're back for our first one of the year. Yay! I'm very excited to be back today. So today I wanted to talk about something that I've been running into a little bit with a couple of small businesses I've been working with. Some of the roadblocks and little quirks that come up with Facebook Business Manager when you're trying to set up Facebook Business Manager for the first time, especially if you've already had a page where you've been posting to this page and engaging with it for a long time, and then all of a sudden you try to make the switch over to managing your page through Facebook Business Manager rather than managing it through your personal profile. There can be some little bugs that come up, especially if your page has been one that several people have managed, or you've had marketing people that have managed it across different platforms. Say you had one person managing Instagram, one person managing your Facebook page, that sort of thing. These little troubles can pop up. So, for example, had a recent client. We have been trying to work on getting their Facebook page set up to run ads through them. So in case you don't know, Facebook has recently changed their system, and it's been within the past 6 months or so, where if you were running your Facebook page through your personal profile and not using Business Manager, which is perfectly fine, it's just if you want to start running ads for your business through your Facebook page, you can't really do that anymore. Facebook has limited the ads functionality that you can do with your Facebook page without using Facebook Business Manager. Now, before I go off into Business Manager here, let me clarify that a little bit. If you have a Facebook page that you're just managing through your through your Facebook profile, your personal profile, you can run some ads. For example, if you create an event, you can boost that event. You can boost a post. You can advertise the page to get more likes. But that is about it. And you won't have access to a lot of the analytics, a lot of the data that you would get back from running Facebook ads through Business Manager. You have very limited options, and you get very limited feedback on how your ads are performing. So this is why I talk about Facebook Business Manager and getting your business on Facebook Business Manager so much, is because if you really want to understand how your ads are performing, how your page is performing, your post is performing, all that sort of stuff, you've got to get your business on Facebook Business Manager, because it's the only thing that Facebook provides anymore that has all of those in-depth analytics. Now, say you've had this page you've been running for a while, just through your personal profile. You've decided that recently you want to start running ads. Fantastic. But you want to do something that is more in-depth than the limited ad options that Facebook provides through the personal profile. So at that point, you have to get on Business Manager. You've had your page for a while. Maybe it's gone through a couple of different social media managers. You've had people come and go, you've added interns, that sort of thing to it. You had somebody else who was running Instagram. They connected that Instagram to your Facebook page so they could cross-post, things like that. Somewhere along the way, Facebook has created a Business Manager profile for you automatically. I found this with a couple of pages that I've managed recently, where I will go in and create the page, create it through my personal account because I don't want it to be owned by my Humble and Hustle Studios Business Manager, and then I will add my Humble and Hustle Studios Business Manager to that page as an agency partner. So if you are working with a marketing agency, that's probably the best way to add somebody to your page, is to add them as an agency partner. But I started noticing that these pages that I was creating were automatically getting their own Business Manager profiles. So now if I go onto business.facebook.com, I have to select which Business Manager profile I'm going to log into. And it's definitely a bug in their system, because I have tried deleting Business Manager profiles for some of the pages that I know are not going to ever be used with a business manager. For example, I have one page where I had this like harebrained scheme for a business idea or a book idea or something like that. So I went and created a page, and then a few months later I unpublished it. Well, that page, even though it's unpublished, nothing's going to happen with it. I'm just kind of basically holding on to it because, you know, I want to hold on to the name basically. It has its own business profile, and it's never going to get used. So, and I've tried deleting that, and it doesn't want to delete it. So it's definitely a bug in their system that you have to figure out how to manage with your profile. You might not have this problem necessarily with your business, but the trouble that might come up for you if you already have these different profiles that have already been used, you've had different people on them, is that you probably already have a business manager profile. And if you go in and try to create a business manager profile that you are going to control, you are going to run, say that, you know, you as the business owner, what you might find is that you try to add all of your business assets to your business manager. For example, your page, your Instagram account, your advertising account, your pixel, especially your pixel. That's very important. You start trying to add all these things to it, and it'll find that Facebook is going to give you an error, or it's going to have you request access to it. What happens there is that means that another business manager profile owns your page. Let me know in the comments if I'm being confusing with this, and I'm happy to kind of clarify, because it's not the easiest topic to explain without actually like showing pictures. So when you create that page, or you have Instagram connect to a Facebook page, it creates that business manager profile. And that business manager profile owns those assets that it has access to. Facebook calls like your page, your pixel, your Instagram account, it calls those assets. So that business manager owns those assets. Well, what happens if that business manager profile got created under a team member's account because he was the one who connected the Instagram to the Facebook page, but he's not the one who's going to be like controlling the marketing strategy and giving access to people to have access to your assets and that sort of thing. So what do you do then? Basically, what you have to do is, you as the business owner, and it should be the business owner, or it should be somebody who is going to be in control of the marketing long term. Basically, you want a very senior team member, or you want somebody who understands how to transfer these assets around. You want them to create a business manager profile, and then you're going to have to go in and request access or request transfer of ownership of all of these assets to this one centralized business manager account. And it's a pain in the butt. It really is. It's a pain in the butt. But it has to be done because the way Facebook has gone about trying to force everybody into this business manager system, it's basically creating the situation where a business might have assets that are split across several different business manager accounts. So you might have your Instagram account in this one, and you might have your Facebook page in this one. And then somebody went and added a pixel to your website, and it's in this one. And basically, you need to bring all of those together so that they're all together. Otherwise, you're not going to get that same data. You're not going to have that same asset, or the same access to all of your assets. So I talk about a lot about how nice Business Manager is, because it is really like a central hub where you can control who is accessing what. You can see all of your data in one place, and it helps bring all of these different platforms that Facebook controls together. Makes it a lot easier, basically, to control and analyze and see your performance across all of Facebook's tools. But the problem is that the way that they try to force people in is just creating confusion. So I'm not a super big fan of it, and I'm just trying to help explain ways where you can try to figure out how to get around this. So basically, figure out the one account that's going to have access to all of these assets. If it's easier to use the one account that got created when somebody added the pixel to your website, then do that. Then absolutely do that. If it's easier, like if you're, you don't have the pixel on your website and now you're just trying to get your Instagram and your Facebook into the same account, have one page request ownership of the other one, and then whoever has then you have to track down who owns it. So have them log into Business Manager, see if they have ownership of it and can approve the transfer request. Basically, it's a confusing thing where if you need to hire a consultant to come in and try to help you clean it all up, it might be worth it rather than trying to bang your head against the wall of Facebook's bugs. So otherwise, and so just make sure you understand, like, remember who has had access to all of these sort of things, to all of these different assets. Make sure you can get in touch with them so that they can log in and change these things around. All of these different things are going to be really important for you to understand and be able to get control of your assets in one place. Then once you do have all of your assets in this one place, in this one Business Manager, then you can start assigning page roles. So this is one thing I run into every now and then. I'll add a new page to my Facebook Business Manager, and then I'll go in and look for it, and it won't be there. And I'll be like, what's going on? And then I remember, duh, I added my Business Manager account to the page, but then you have to assign a person to that asset. So basically, you have to go into the Business Manager settings. It's usually in the top right corner of Business Manager. It's Business Settings, I believe is what the button says. You have to go into that, and there'll be a option on the left side in that section called Page Roles. Well, this is where you're going to be able to add people to your Business Manager. So previously, you had people kind of scattered across all of these different accounts. Now you're going to try to bring them all into this one account. So say you have, an intern who's helping you create reports. You have your Facebook manager who is the one who's posting on Facebook day to day. You have your Instagram manager who's doing the day-to-day updates on that. And then you have your ad person who's running all of your ads. Now what you can do is you can add all of those people into the one Business Manager. And then you have everybody in one central location. And then you can assign assets to people. So the person who is managing your who's checking your analytics, you can assign them different assets, and you don't have to give them admin level. Just give them access to see your analytics, your page performance, that sort of thing. The person who's managing your Facebook page, they're probably going to need to have a little bit more access so that they can respond to comments, they can respond to reviews and messages, that sort of thing. Then you have the person who is running your ads. They need access to your ad systems, and you want to make sure to assign your ad account to that person, or assign that person to your ad account. And then you can set it up so that, yes, they have access to your ad account, they can see the analytics, all that sort of stuff, but they don't have access to your financials. Whereas you as the business owner are the only person who has access to the financials. You're the only one who can go in and update that card, that sort of thing. Or if you have somebody who is in charge of the money stuff, like you have an accountant or you have a CFO or something like that, and they're the ones who are going in and going to be managing the bills and that sort of thing. Like you need somebody who can actually download the bills and the invoices that Facebook sends you. Then you can assign them to the ad account as well, but make it so that they can actually see the they don't necessarily need to see the analytics, but they need to see the money side of things. They need to be able to see the billing information, the invoices, all of that sort of stuff. So, so there is a lot that you can do with Business Manager, but it's buggy, and it's buggy. It's getting better, but it is kind of a maze to understand. It doesn't have the friendliest UI. It doesn't have the there is the Facebook Blueprint learning system, but personally, I found that even when I go into like look up answers myself, sometimes it still is not the best explained. Like the tutorials are not always the best explained. For example, I recently just found a feature of Facebook Business Manager that I didn't know about before. It's so I've been playing around with that a little bit more. Handy little feature. I think maybe it might be a somewhat new feature. I don't remember seeing it before, but so Facebook is changing things, and sometimes the way that they explain it is not always the most clear. So if you need to have an expert come in and take a look at your business manager and help you figure out what goes where and that sort of thing, it's worth it in the long run to get your infrastructure on the right page and set up correctly. Because if you have your infrastructure set up correctly, that means you can grow more sustainably. As your business starts to grow, you're going to need to bring in more people to help you with your marketing. If you have that infrastructure already set up, and optimized, then it makes the road to bring in those people so much smoother, and they can just get started and start building up your business. So you're not wasting time trying to figure out like where do people go and where's this asset, that sort of thing. More efficient, you have more efficient workers, you're bringing in leads faster, you're getting your marketing to work more efficiently, that sort of thing. So it's really worth having the infrastructure there in the first place. And that's one of the things we really try to focus on with Humble and Hustle Studios is, if you're just getting started with your business, it's really important to us that we get your infrastructure set up correctly first, and then start doing stuff for you. Because if you don't have the infrastructure, like think of it like a pyramid, you've got to have that infrastructure that's really solid and really set up right before you can start to build up. Because if you don't have that, if it's like shaky, if the infrastructure is not set up really well, then as you start to build, things are going to get like rickety and shaky, and a little bit of a change might cause everything to fall down and not work for you anymore. So that's why we have that philosophy is, that infrastructure is the starting point. It is the basis. And from there, that's where everything else can grow. So anyway, those are a couple of the things I've seen come up with Facebook Business Manager. I would love to hear from you if you have had any other troubles with Facebook Business Manager that you've run into, whether you have been able to figure them out or if you are still stuck on them and not sure what to do. Like I said, sometimes Facebook isn't the most clear about explaining how these things work. And if you need to ask the question here, please do, or send us a message. I'm talking about like our philosophy here because, we really do want to help people figure out their infrastructure, figure out their marketing better. And we're happy to answer any questions. Otherwise, this is our first Lunch and Learn video of the year. We're trying to plan out topics now and figure out what we're going to be talking about for the rest of the year. If you have ideas, if you have things you want to learn about, please let us know, because we really want to hear from you and what you want to learn about, what you're struggling with, because we can talk about all these different things. I was thinking here today, it's like, oh, maybe I should talk about LinkedIn marketing today, but I realized that this topic of having trouble with setting up a business manager is not something we've really talked about yet, and that's probably going to be more relevant to somebody's needs or immediate needs than LinkedIn advertising might be. But I don't know, maybe I'm not correct in that, and that's why I'd love to hear from you, love to hear what you want to learn about this year, so we can start planning and researching for those topics. All right, thank you everyone for tuning in. I'll see you next week.